Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer Roberts. This is True Divine 44. You can also catch me on Bitchute as well as YouTube, and get me at Instagram and Twitter at The True Divine. Just getting some sage burning. So I haven't got Theodore. It is with my mum, so I'm just trying to get quite a few things done quickly so I can spend more time with him and William and Abigail over the coming week. And so this is the daily energy readings that I do on a daily basis to help support, guide and inspire those who need to be supported, guided and inspired, giving you a narrative of the energies of the day with some psychic foresight to help you recognize those energies within you, around you and within others, to help you get the best out of your day and make the best decisions for you and reach your highest potentials. So this is for the first, a new month, a new moon, the 1st of March 2021. So let's get this smoking up in here. Take what resonates. It is general, and leave what does not. No offense will be taken. Leave a comment. Always love the comments, and I'll hopefully be able to stay in contact and reply into them even quicker with me doing some videos ahead of time, going through that time travel in Veil to help give you this narrative. And I always enjoy your comments. So we've got the threes are very prominent right now. The magical three, the Trinity. We've got the Three of Wands again on the bottom of the deck. And so this is speaking of taking action, where action needs to be taken. And we are at a place, I feel, that, you know, how long is it going to be before we take action? And it's unfortunate what I feel that is the action that we will have to take may be met with some action and forced to try and suppress that. After all, that's what they've been working so hard on, the mind, the caging of the mind, to stop people from taking action where action is necessary. How long are we going to sit back? How long are we going to not speak out? How long are we going to comply? And that's for our individual lives and on the collective stage. In our individual lives, many of us are still trying to comply to the needs of others, comply to the judgment or the expectancy of others, and so it is putting us under a place where we're not reflecting our true selves, our true selves. And so this is a time to really take action on that in your individual life, which indeed will have an effect on the collective stage. It will release that energy of divinity and sovereignty into the ethers, where other people pick up on that and hopefully pick up that pebble and roll with it themselves, also being given inspiration by your individual act of action on your behalf to represent your true self. So that's underpinning the reading on the bottom of the deck. What have we got? Where's the other deck gone? There it is. And we've got the Temperance card. So number 14 in this deck, and it is the Temperance card on the bottom of the other deck. And you see here it's represented, it reminds me of the heart, you know, what's represented in the diagrams of the oxygenated blood and the not so oxygenated blood, and the cycle, the transference. And so this is about transference, about creating balance, and being the alchemist, the energy alchemist. So when you're taking this action to represent your true self, to be able to take on negative words of others or disparaging words of others or judgments, and not be able to take that on board and let it fester within you, but actually take it on board and transmute that energy and use it for something that you can use it for, that you can use to go forward. This is a true alchemy. It's a true alchemist in that it truly is possible to do this. It takes some practice, but it's about taking that energy and transferring it and infusing it with lessons that you can take forward, with positive words, with a positive slant on the fact that even if somebody calls you I don't know, a two-headed toad, you know, with I don't know, warts and all, you know, dwelling in a swamp, stinking like a sewer, whatever it is, you can say, well, damn, that person has had to put thought into that. They've had to take time out. I'm having an impact. Even that's transmuting that energy to a lesser extent, to say that, yeah, they've some way, somehow, I've made an impact on that person, enough for them to stop their day and think of those ridiculous insults and put them in a string in this sentence, and even taken the effort to make sure that it was delivered to me. You know, you're transmuting that energy, and it's all about balance. It's all about staying even tempered also, that when you're taking action on your own behalf that will represent your true self in the systems that we're in the societies that we're in, that is so triggered, so divisional, and deliberately so, and even so oppressive as regarding the laws, ridiculous, regarding the government, ridiculous. All of these things, they will come at you. You will meet them at some point, at some level, at varying degrees. And so to not fall into the trap of being reactionary to their reaction to your action is super important. And that's where the wisdom of the Temperance card also comes out, to be able to stay even tempered, even in the most difficult situations, to do so. And so this is key to bolstering your action taken pause. And we have the Wheel of Fortune, so another major arcana. And this Wheel of Fortune, I love it. It's a number 10, so it's a cycle. And so you've gone through a certain period, a certain cycle in your individual life. If this resonates with you, if you're being pushed to take action, if you feel like what you're doing isn't truly representing or resonating with the true essence of you, it's time to turn that wheel. And by taking this action, you actively turn that wheel. If you don't do this, and this happens more often than not, then others are going to turn the wheel for you, and you will be on their wheel of fortune. You will be on their frequency. You will be under their rule. And so this is about taking that sovereign action that truly represents you, to turn this wheel for yourself. This is the ebb and flow of life, and there are ebbs and flows in life. It's in this reality, it seems to be how we expand and grow. Even so, duality-wise, it seems to be that it's how some devolve and shrink. There's this balance to it, of this experience, this life. And so there is this ebb and flow, but you being in your sovereign self, in your true essence self, you can absolutely have more control over your ebb and flow and over your wheel, your fate, and how you experience that, how you experience your destiny. And all of that is wrapped up in this very complicated wheel that keeps turning and keeps meeting with the different cycles. It represents the zodiac signs, it represents the stars in the sky, it represents the as above, so below. It represents fate and destiny, ebb and flow, the secular nature of time rather than the linear nature of time. It represents a whole lot in this one wheel. So the Four of Pentacles clarifies the wheel, and this is where foundations that have been built in the past, it's hard to take this action because we cling on, because of the systems that have been built up around us, because of the belief systems within family units, friendship units, business units. We cling on to the status quo, we cling on to the old, and we can get a bit miserly with that. And so this is a bit of a contradiction and a bit of a cognitive dissonance. So it takes a bit of pushing of this wheel and a bit of pushing of self to take this action, to release yourself and to expect more than just the Four of Pentacles. It also means that some of you have built up firm foundations in the number 4, the foundational number, and you are a hard worker, and you've been putting in the hard work to temper yourself, to become your own alchemist, to release yourself from binds and being bound by certain energies and certain cords. And so this is where, from those foundations, you can spring into action in your fire, because this is from earth to fire, and so the fire moves a lot quicker than earth, and so it may feel a bit strange at first, and some things might get shook off your wheel, as in certain people, certain things, certain structures around you will get spun off your wheel. It might feel odd because they've been there a long time, but it is actually a good thing. We can't keep putting up with the status quo, and we can't keep wishing for the status quo to come back either. It wasn't that good, you know. It might have been shiny and okay, but it is a bit of a I'm all right, Jack saying, isn't it? Well, as long as they're not bombing over here, it's okay. As long as it's us doing the bombing, that's okay. Things like that have to be done, have to be stopped, have to be no more tolerance to it. And so we do need to release ourselves from the status quo now, individualize for the collective to start to be open enough to release ourselves from these binds and these cruelties that, because we are bound and miserly with our reality individually, they get away with, and they get consent for in big numbers. And so this is where, you know, a reflection as the above, so below, as the below, so the above, as the within, so without, everything reflecting in on everything. We've got the King of Coins as the next card. So this is speaking about taking authority, taking this action and taking that with authority. The King of Coins, King of Pentacles, is Earth. It is an authority figure. It is a fatherly energy. It is a sovereign figure. It's a king. It's about what the reality can bring, the management of the reality, the creation of this king's reality. And so there's a very masculine energy to this reading today, thus far, with the divine feminine of the Temperance. And so it seems to be quite well balanced out so far. But this King of Coins will take action. This King of Coins is very much of strategy, very much of a thinking, learned energy, very, very, what's the word? Very, very, what's the word? Good at negotiating, very good at organizing. That's the word. Very good at organizing, very good at seeing people's strengths, very good at knowing his own strengths, and being poised for action and taking action at the right time. Is a strategist, very much so, a planner. And so we see that it plans ahead, and it's the King of Coins, so it's Earth, so it's taken into account, especially with this wheel, everything, the cycles of the seasons, when to plant, when to harvest, when to put to seed, when to de-weed, all of these things, when to rest, you know, all of these different things that the seasons bring. This King of Pentacles is very good at taking that all in, which is a guidance for us all to be doing right now in planning. That gives us security, that makes us less frightened of holding on to the status quo if we are growing things, if we are grounded in that strategy. We've got the Eight of Wands to clarify this King of Pentacles. So this speaks to getting busy. It's time to get busy. It's time to move quicker. It's time for people to be throwing those messages to one another, to create strategies, to create plans, to think in different ways, to collaborate with one another. And this speeds up. There's a much more of an urgency to this. And so if that resonates with you, go with that urgency, but maintain your strategy, maintain your goal, maintain your discernment within it. There are a lot of messages from the King of from the Eight of Wands to the ground, from the governments, from the collective stage, which are very much as part of the breaking down of humanity. There's just so many headlines, there's just so many worries and woes, and what I do get is that there's a long play here to set up the bee. there's a long play to set him up, so to speak, of him being dangerous, and that's starting to come out today, starting to emerge even from his own party. I think that's what you would call them, where these worries and these woes about, you know, the maybe off the cuff nature, the maybe reactionary nature of B is dangerous. And I think it's going to lead to later on in the year a certain psyop, a certain thing that he demands is done that is very dangerous, and that'll be the preliminary stage to getting the female behind him in that I mentioned quite a few videos ago, and that'll be the setup, the paving the ground for her to be created, the first female president. Which will be a very dark day if we don't take action now. And so everything feels very set, that they have the control, that they do this, that they do that. We still have an opportunity, if we're taking action individually in our own lives and with groups of people all around the world. We still have, these people make mistakes. They make mistakes all the time. The main goals that they have, the main good things that they have is that they own a lot. They own the systems that create the laws, that create the commands. And so, yeah, they do have the upper hand, but you know, if we can take action, actually that upper hand is lost, because if people were to en masse switch off from mainstream media, you know, the low frequency magic black mirror spell, then we would see that, you know, hold on a minute, there would be a lot of people against a very few. And so there's this energy of, we need to rile this up a little bit now, we need to get a bit active, we need to get a bit pissed off now, in a balanced way, in a very discerning and clever way. And so you can see their playing out today, more so with the Five of Wands. Excuse me, got a hair. I've just been holding the bunny in between videos, and he's so beautiful, but he's so hairy. So we've got the Five of Wands to as the next card, and this is the conflict. This has kept coming up also. The Five of Wands, you know, as I mentioned at the start of the video, when you start taking action outside of the boxes that you have been put in, either by people around you, yourself even, and the people above you, the so-called powers that be, when you start to get out that box, it's going to cause conflict. And this is where, you know, it feels like for this somebody who this will resonate with, that you have a divine feminine energy around you, a motherly like figure with this Queen of Cups clarifying this, that is compassionate to you and actually gives you a real boost today, a real strength of wise words behind closed doors to bolster the fact that you're taking the right action, and that they love you regardless of anything. So that's for whoever that was for, and that's a beautiful thing. What a lovely motherly energy. But also, as far as yourself, applying this divine feminine energy to this very action-packed fire will serve you very, very well. It's water. Water puts out fire. And so to bring some normalcy to this, to say, do you not love me? Do you not love me? Do you not love me regardless of what I believe? Do you not adore me? Because I adore you, regardless of what you believe. For a lot of you, that's going to put out this fire. Even if it's just for a time, it's going to put out this fire. They're going to lose that momentum of like, well, how do I answer that? Because I do actually love them, but I don't like them, but I love them. How do I answer that? It's sort of very cleverly, very fox-likey, puts the divine feminine water onto the fire. And doesn't do it with violence, doesn't do it with hate, but does it with just reflection. And so this, bear this in mind, that is incorporating this balanced view, transmuting the energy, and also with that Temperance card. As the collective stage, as far as this, it is for us to incorporate this, you know, let's put out, let's put out the nitty gritty truths. You know, anybody who knows me now knows I'm all about that. I'm about, let's stop this. Let's be here to do something. Let's be here to stop the abuse. Let's be here to stop what's going on, particularly with children, with animals, with the planet, with whatever. But let's do something. Let's really go outside the box like our ancestors did so many times over periods of time. Let's if we're going to be here, let's be here. And so I'm all about that. But let's also today, because they're trying so hard to shoot these arrows and make this conflict, they're trying to make little conflict bombs land. And if people pick up on the mantle and use the systems that they gave us, you know, the internet, the social media, and use it for exactly as they planned, and ignite this conflict and keep having this conflict, then we're giving them what they want. So today, let's just randomly, you know, put out something funny or put out something loving. Tell people, you know what, you can throw all the hate you want, but I love the fact that you're part of humanity. I love that you're here. I know that sounds all very easy. Oh, that's too easy to do. What's that going to solve? It's the water putting out the fire. And often the most easy solutions are the best solutions. And it gives you a boost, because no longer are you taking on these negative words or these negative statuses or whatever. You've looked at them, you've processed them, and you've thrown something back. This is transmuting the energy. And you know, your little bombs of love, your little bombs of compassion, your little bombs of understanding, whatever part of the spectrum it is that represents this divine feminine Queen of Cups, it's putting water on a conflict fire. And it'll land on some people. It won't land on all people, but it'll land on some people. But for sure, it'll land on more people than if you didn't do it at all. And do this in real life also. Like I mentioned, you know, ask those questions. I love you. Do you not love me? That's fine if you don't love me. That's fine if you don't agree with me. I don't agree with you, but I love you. And I love that you're here. I love that I can say I knew you or I know you. And, you know, whatever happens from there, it's all gravy, because you've transmuted that energy, and it may land with them, it may not, but it's going to have much more of a chance to land with them than if you hadn't said it at all. So it's really engaging with this action and not being backing off from your action, but also engaging with that divine feminine. And it's funny because the strength card is right underneath the Three of Wands. And this is about the divine feminine guiding the divine masculine within as to when to take action, when to step back a bit, when to not growl, when to snarl and show the teeth, and when to, you know, just purr. And so this is the combination of the two divinities within you. And so this is a real balancing act today, but in a real good way. And I know all of you that listen here, I'm so grateful that I know you, that I can, a lot of you can call you friends, personal friends, and even the ones that listen and don't converse and don't comment. That's great, because I feel that energy anyway. So I'm privileged to know so many people by me taking action and putting this out here, that I can know that there are so many more people in the world that are enlightened, that are doing their work, that are here for this experience, and also here to change things up, to balance things out a little bit more, and to just explore. And that is an absolute privilege and honor to be of service to you, and to just know you, and just have the relaxation of knowing that you're there, and knowing that you exist gives me great, not even hope, just knowing that something's happening. And this is a part of the ending of a huge cycle and the beginning of a new, and something is happening with the consciousness of those that are here. So I appreciate that so much. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Much balance and much wholeness. If you want a personal reading, hit me up at truedivinemedia@gmail.com. Same for spiritual guidance, spiritual coaching, or any energy work, which is where we work with the energy. We do the temperance card. We transmute energy with whatever you're facing. You can get me at that email also. I love and appreciate you all. Mwah.